Hey there, so in this video we're going to be discussing a bunch of reasons why a lot of people are moving to Northwest Arkansas and why we both moved to Northwest Arkansas. So if you want that information, stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Alan. Thanks for tuning in.
This is Brent Farmer. Hey, this is the Living in Arkansas team, and if you're new to the channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in Northwest Arkansas and lifestyle here, then tap the subscribe button, click the little bell for notifications.
So now we're going to jump into all the reasons that people are flocking to Northwest Arkansas, and you can see whether it fits your lifestyle or not. We're going to clue you in on why we moved here. First thing we're going to talk about is the weather, and I can tell you, I came from Houston, Texas. I grew up in South Texas and Louisiana, South Louisiana, and humidity's crazy there. We don't get that here. We get some humidity spikes, and I'm not saying there won't be a day that it gets 105, during certain times, but it's short-lived. The humidity's short-lived, so a lot of people are moving here because of weather. What's your experience been,
So
Brett?
my perspective would be, I grew up in Washington State. I was born in California, born in Washington, grew up in Washington, in Seattle area, and there's no humidity there. There's very little. Once in a decade there's humidity. And moving down here, I experienced, it was like, oh man, I walked outside one day, it was late summer, I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, why is it so weird outside? And that was the first time I'd really experienced humidity, not traveling a whole bunch. And so humidity there's about 45 days that it can get high on humidity, but the rest of the summer is actually wonderful. It's 90 degrees, 85 degrees. There's a breeze. There's mountain clouds. So it's wonderful.
Yeah, not to forget the cold. Now, in winter, the great thing here too is that it doesn't get insanely cold. It has some cold spurts, and there's some freezing times. And it seems like every few years we get a snowstorm. When I say snowstorm, that means like 2-3 inches on the ground, and it kind of shuts the city down. Schools close and everything else, so that might be kind of different than where you're from. But so we hardly ever get a real severe winter. Every 7-8 years we get a severe winter.
Yeah, I'd say more than 5 inches every 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And we don't get a bad issue with ice. And so every now and then, 15 years ago, there was a bad ice storm, but maybe one's coming, maybe not. Fall, though, around here, it's all deciduous trees. There's 99% deciduous trees, and all the leaves change. And you just go for a curvy road out in the country, and you're just driving, and you just fall in love with fall and autumn here. The temperature's perfect. You go find a restaurant on the mountainside, and it's just gorgeous to look at. Yeah. I love that. I love evergreen trees in Washington. I absolutely love that. But the beauty of fall here for about a month is outstanding.
Leaves are changing. So when it comes down to severity of weather, it can get hot, it can get cold, but the reality is most of the time it's just pretty darn nice, and it's not extreme in one way or the other. So it's a pretty awesome place to live, and the weather cooperates 95% of the time.
Yeah, and I want to bring up even summer, severe fall weather. Sometimes there can be tornadoes, but not in our area. Oklahoma, we're right next to Oklahoma. They're Tornado Alley. We're tucked away in a mountain pocket that changes. I don't know science, so somebody can correct me on this, but it changes the pressure system by our elevation, and so it usually diverts the bad storms north of us to Joplin or south of us to Fort Smith, and so there has not been a tornado in Northwest Arkansas that has done severe damage in decades and decades, and so we're pretty well tucked away in the mountains, about 1,500, anywhere from 1,300 to 1,800 feet above sea level is where our elevation is at, and so that really scientifically protects us from all the bad weather.
That sounded so good. I'm going to get you a hat that says Science Guy.
So one thing we're experiencing that people are moving here for is getting away from all the hustle bustle, the big city lights. One thing that's super unique about Northwest Arkansas is we have an outdoor concert venue right in Rogers, and 15 minutes away or less, there's a cow pasture that has 50, 60 head of cow. There's little micro farms, little family farms that are still in existence. Your agriculture is right there. Your country, your spacious living is 15, 20 minutes away from live events, big ticket live events, restaurants, dining, entertainment, Top Golf, whole bunch of stuff. And that's Northwest Arkansas right there.
So one of the questions that we get when people are considering Northwest Arkansas is it economically sound? I mean, is it gonna, what's gonna happen as the economy changes and so on? My opinion is that it's pretty solid, and the reason for that is that there's a lot of industry here and a bunch of different industries. So as far as job choices, there's a lot of different ways to go here.
We've got a list of top, Fortune 500 companies.
That's what I was looking for.
We've got Tyson Chicken, Simmons Chicken, George's Chicken, a lot of chicken food production around here.
Oh, no.
But also with that is JB Hunt Trucking. They have over 20% of the market share of trucking. Their headquarters is right here, just south of Rogers. Walmart home office, home of Walmart, is right here in Bentonville, Arkansas. And man, they pour a lot back into our neighborhood and our culture in Northwest Arkansas, but they also provide bunches of jobs and opportunities.
So another reason that people are moving here is it's an incredible place to raise a family. So one of the things that comes up when you think about that, though, is schools and how are the schools. Throughout Arkansas as a whole, I'd say that the schools are somewhat, let's say they leave something to be desired. But in Northwest Arkansas specifically, there are some top-notch schools. We just read that there were 7 schools in Northwest Arkansas that were in the top 10% in the United States. We've got one of the best in the country private schools here. Obviously, we have the University of Arkansas. So schooling in Northwest Arkansas, there are some fantastic schools here.
And then to continue on that, I would say after-school programs and classes and training for sports, anything that your kid is into, there's going to be a service that is going to be provided for that. In fact, in Bentonville, in South Bentonville, there's neighborhoods, there's a bunch of neighborhoods that are around walking distance to school. Elementary, middle school, junior high, they're all walking distance. And just outside of those neighborhoods are gymnasiums, sports complexes, climbing gyms, whatever your kid is actively into, there's a service that's provided.
I think I'd be excellent at doing one of those climbing walls. I think that'd be good, right?
Another thing that people move here for is all the outdoor activities, but I want to touch on the art scene. Everything that is cultural to us as Americans. Start off with Bentonville. We've got the Amazeum, which is great for kids. It's a fun science experiment museum. And then that's right next to the world-class Crystal Bridges Museum. There's a whole free section. There's trails outside of it. You just soak up nature and all its beauty. And then the architecture of that building is really fun to just pay attention to. And then Bentonville, there's Native American museums. There's historical other landmarks. And then in Rogers, we have the Walmart Amp. That is the outdoor concert and venue. We also have in Fayetteville, downtown Fayetteville, there's a Walton Arts Center that where we get off-Broadway shows. We have Hamilton showing there next year. We had Les Mis a few years back. There's a whole bunch of cultural and fun activities. Even in some of our smaller cities, we have some local theaters that they do some really fun plays, some improv. Really enjoyable.
A couple things that are even going on right now as we speak. The Tawny Town Wine Festival is on, which is it's a fair, and then also the Bentonville Film Festival is going on right now in Bentonville, which is a big draw. People come from all over the country to come to the Bentonville Film Festival. Just some fantastic things to do here in Northwest Arkansas. Never a dull moment. So one of the amazing benefits here is just an incredible cost of living. I mean, Having lived in several different places across the country, from Seattle to Hawaii to Florida, the cost of living can be really high in those places. Shoot, you can come here from one of those bigger markets and get twice the house for half the price. It's pretty amazing what your dollar will get you here. So really a lot of value. You get a lot for your money. It's also very inexpensive to live day to day as far as cost of living goes, and to run your household between energy or whatever else.
Yeah, and then to talk about property taxes, coming from the Pacific Northwest in Washington, I have a buddy that still lives there in Tacoma area. He is paying $400, $500, $600 a month in just property taxes. Here, you're going to pay for the same size house, about 1,700 square feet. It's going to be anywhere from $100 to $120 a month in property taxes.
Now that's a savings.
That's huge. And another reason to reach out is just because there's going to be different pockets of areas that are going to be a little bit higher on cost of living and a little bit lower on cost of living. And that's why you have to reach out, so we can identify exactly what you're looking for, and we can navigate you towards and point you towards the right direction.
So I think one of the main reasons people are living here is just like the outdoors itself, and the opportunity to be outdoors and experience the outdoors, especially because we have the climate that we do pretty much year round. I'm an avid fisherman and hunter, and the opportunities to do those things here are pretty amazing. I take part in a lease with some partners, so those kinds of opportunities are here. Just never runs out of opportunities to be outside, whether it's down at the lake, or whether it's fly fishing on the river, or whether it's just clomping through the woods on a hike. There's amazing hiking opportunities here, amazing hiking trails as well as.
What kind of wildlife is here for?
Okay,
for
there's whitetail, turkeys, hogs. The other thing that you will see here, although it's really tough to get permit to hunt, is we do have some elk as well down near the White River. So there's some pretty neat wildlife here as well.
Every now and then we get some black bear too, but those are in the more remote mountain areas, forested areas.
Maybe I can throw a picture in for them.
Yeah, not so much in the city. Don't worry about those. But in the city, right next to the cities, the mountain biking is huge here. So we have hundreds of miles of trail, paved trail with going with kids. You can go all the way from Bella Vista down to 50 miles down to South Fayetteville. There's tons of spur off trails that will go to dirt packs, and they flow really nice. I love getting out on there when it's not too hot, and nice early morning. And we've got Lake Fayetteville Trail that's about 6 miles around. There's a concrete trail for hiking and biking, but there's also a dirt trail that will cut in and out, and that's about a 7 mile trail through there. Mount Kessler, really tough mountain for mountain biking, but it is a killer vista, and it is so much fun. There's more trails. Bentonville, oh my word, Bentonville and Bella Vista, there's just hundreds of miles of mountain biking trails up there. It is world-class stuff. We are in the top 5 of the U.S. for mountain biking sports activities. I love playing ultimate frisbee, and it's kind of a unique sport. But I love there's clubs for ultimate frisbee. There's disc golf is huge around here. There's lots of courses. There is volleyball clubs. This is just for adults and children too. There's bunches of sports complexes that Tyson and Walmart have built to pour back into the community, that all these schools, you go on a Saturday to one of these sports parks, there are hundreds of people there.
They're packed.
There's dozens of games being played all day. Tennis courts, soccer fields, football, baseball, name the sport, we're playing it. There's lacrosse. We even have a hockey team that plays for the Razorbacks. Little known fact about them, I learned that last year. The outdoor activity and the natural beauty around here is fantastic. Just to get out and hike, there's waterfalls. There's over 200 waterfalls in Arkansas. There's 50 of them that are pretty close to northwest Arkansas. And then canoeing and kayaking, that's massive. The Buffalo River, National River, when it's flowing really well, that is a hot place to go. You have cliffs that are 50 to 150 feet up that you're just staring up at as you're floating by. Grab a cooler, enjoy your time. If it's flowing really fast, grab your helmet and make sure your paddles are lanyard to your wrist or whatever, so that you don't lose them. But it's a blast. You can camp on the side of the bank. It's wonderful.
So you use the word vistas, and one of my favorite things about Northwest Arkansas is that you can drive here and there. There's a whole bunch of secondary roads through the mountains, and every time you turn around, you're topping a hill, and you can see for 10 miles and see valley after valley and mountain after mountain. The scenery is incredible here. You also mentioned sports. I will say we don't have any professional teams here. We do have the minor league baseball team called the Naturals. They actually are the feeder team for the Kansas City Royals. They have a baseball stadium right here in Springdale, as well as we have our beloved Razorback Hogs here for college football out of the U of A. So we do have some great sporting events. We pack that place out during football season, 60, 70,000 people in the stadium, and go cheer on those Hogs.
Yeah, one thing about the Arvis ballpark for the Naturals baseball team, if you have a family of 4 or 5, you can drop $50-$60 on tickets, food, and parking, and you guys just had a day full of fun. And it's really inexpensive for tickets. The food's good. The prices are awesome, and you can get spots in the shade, and you're just having a great time on a Saturday.
We went recently, and the tickets were $7 to watch the ball game, and it happened to be
a doubleheader.
It was a doubleheader, and it was brat night, so we got dollar brats, so that was awesome.
So there's about 1,000,001 reasons why people are moving to Northwest Arkansas, and we want to target the area and the lifestyle and the activities that you want to do, and find you a house near there, a home and a lifestyle near there. And so you have to reach out to us, though.
We're waiting. Like I said, give us a call, give us a text, Pony Express, any of that. Reach out to us. We're here to serve.
Until the next video, stay tuned.